Hey everybody, welcome back to the homestead. We are so happy to have you guys all as patrons. This is going to be our first video here on Patreon. We just really want to say a big thank you for all of your support. One of the reasons we started to do Patreon was because we wanted to be able to bring you more in-depth butchering videos to show you more in-depth how to process animals on your homestead. There's certain things that YouTube just doesn't really like to be made public. And there's certain things that just in general, you know, a lot of our subscribers on YouTube don't appreciate seeing. So the fact that you're here and wanting to learn more makes us very happy. So today I have 2 quail that I need to process. They're just 2 extra males that I've had around that I need to get rid of. And so I thought I'd bring you guys along as I butcher those and show you the process of dispatching quail. So this is the first quail that I have to do today. Again, I have 2 extra males that I'm going to process. A couple things that you're going to need. Now the reason that I like quail is because they're so easy. They're easy to raise and they're easy to do when you get to this stage. On our homestead we skin them. We don't pluck them. I just don't feel like it's worth the time and energy to pluck a quail. So what I have is just a little garbage can with some Walmart bags in it. That's where we'll catch the blood and put the feathers and everything else. I have 1 bowl of water that we'll use to rinse the carcass after I gut it, and then 1 bowl of water to put it in when it's all done. I'll give you warning now that I am going to show me actually killing the bird and show you guys how to do that. So if that's something you don't want to see, this would be the time to turn off the video. But again, for those of you who are wanting to learn more in depth, we're going to go through the whole process step by step. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we need to cut off the bird's head. That's how we're going to actually kill it. All I'm going to use is just a nice sharp scissors. Quail don't have very strong bones, so it's a very easy, humane process. He'll never know what happened. So I'm going to just hold him over this little garbage can just like this and take my scissors and go right behind his head, and then we're just going to snip right through and let him bleed out. Okay, so again, we're just going to take the scissors right here. And we're just going to cut right through his head. And then we're just going to hold him while he bleeds out. It'll take about 30 seconds to a minute for him to completely bleed out and die. Okay, so now that he's completely bled out, it's time to start getting ready to skin him. Now what I like to do is first of all lay him on his back. I keep part of the wings on, but I cut part of the wing off. So there's 2 joints on the wing. For lack of a better term, we'll call it the shoulder and the elbow. I cut the wing off right at the elbow. And we'll just throw that away, and we'll do that on both sides. And then we also need to cut the feet off. So we do that right where the feathers start, at that joint. Alright, so now that we have the wings and the feet cut off, it's time to start skinning. So what you want to do is lay him on his back, and right here on the breast, you'll just pick off a couple of these feathers, and they'll come off real easy. And then you can see the skin. Now the skin on a quail is very thin. You should be able to just rip it. And then everything should just come off real easily. You can just start peeling it off. It's usually the wings that take the most effort. And those feathers kind of stick to your hands, so that's why I like to have the bowls of water out here. So at this point, I'll just give them a rinse, and that way I can see what feathers might still be stuck on them. So there we go. At that point, he's pretty much completely skinned. Now it's time to gut him. So now that he's completely skinned, it's time to take his guts out. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold him breast side down with his back up. What I like to do is take my scissors and just cut the tail area off. And then you can insert your scissors right on the back and go right next to the backbone. And then you can just open him right up, and all of his guts will just come right out, and we'll just scrape those right into our garbage can. And once you know you have everything out, which it looks like it is, just rinse them off in the water here. And really, at this point, he's done. Now, what I like to do, because there's not a lot of meat on a quail as far as the neck, you can just take your scissors and cut along the other side of the spine and just get the spine and the neck off. And there you have your finished quail. Now if you'd like, at this point, you can either cut it in half and have the two halves. You can cut the legs off. You can do, you can part it out that way. We normally like to pan fry quail, so cutting the parts off really works the best for us. So that's what I'm going to do. So cut off one leg, two legs, and we'll cut the breast in half, and there you go. There's your pieces of quail. And we'll put those in the ice water, and we'll let those start cooling down while we do the next quail. Okay, so I've got the second quail, and it's time to, we'll just go right through the same steps as we did on the first one. Now, one thing I did want to say is, depending on what type of scissors you're using, how sharp they are, when you go ahead and cut the head off, it may not cut through the skin real easily, but as long as you feel it going through that neck bone and you know that its head is severed from its spine, the quail is dead at that point, so then you can just cut through the skin. It's still a humane process, even if it takes a little bit longer. So we're going to do the same thing we did last time. Scissors right at the back of the head. And the head comes off. Alright, so now that he's all bled out, we're going to do the same thing we did last time. We're going to start by cutting the tips of the wings off. Again, we're going to do that right at the elbow joint. One nice thing about quail is if you live in a residential area, you can do this even in the house if you really needed to or wanted to, but you could definitely do it outside in a small backyard, and your neighbors probably aren't going to know what's going on. So it's a good meat source for your family, especially if you live in an area where you're not allowed to have other meat type animals. Quail, for the most part, are not considered livestock. They're considered a game bird, and most city ordinances and things don't restrict quail. Alright, so we have the feet and we have the wings off. Again, we're going to do just like before, and we're going to just pluck enough of those breast feathers that we can see the skin. And then we're just going to tear the skin over the breastbone until we can start to see the meat. And then we'll just start peeling the skin off. Now normally if I had a lot of these to do, I would have my outdoor sink set up so that I could have running water. But when I just have these two or just a couple to do, I'll just do it like this with a bowl. And then when we're all done, I'll take them in the house and I'll rinse them real good under clean water from the sink in the house as well. Alright, so now that we've got him skinned, it's time to take the guts out. Alright, so just like before, the first thing we're going to do is cut the tail area off. We'll just get rid of that, and we'll flip him over toward his back. We'll put our scissors right in and go right along the side of the spine. And all the way up to the neck. And that'll take us right to where we can open them up and see everything inside. And we'll just take our finger and we'll just scrape that, and everything will come out pretty much in one piece. Into the garbage can. And there we go, nice clean bird inside. Now we'll just cut along that other side of the spine and get the neck and the spine off. And there we go. We'll just rinse them off in the water. And then just like before, we'll cut them into the parts. First, the back legs. And then we'll cut the breasts in half as well. And there we go. When we get in the house, we'll just, again, rinse these off under some clean water. If there's any feathers still stuck, we'll take those off. But those are all the pieces of the quail. Now, I can tell you, it's a little deceiving. It doesn't look like a lot of meat. But whenever we eat quail, we're always surprised at how full we get eating it. It's a very, I don't know, rich meat or dense meat, something. But 6 of these will be more than enough for our family for a meal, along with some side items. So we're always happy to have them, and we'll be raising a lot more of them this coming year. So there you have it, 2 quail done. Really, once you get in a rhythm with quail, they take about 5 minutes a piece, if that, to finish up. So a real easy process. Again, something that would be great for someone in a small yard, but also great, even if you have a lot of room. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We plan on bringing you a lot more videos like this on Patreon. If there are certain subjects that you guys want to see more in depth, not just animal processing, but things that we do around the homestead, we'd love to hear about that. We'd love to bring you guys additional content here on Patreon. You guys, thanks for stopping by today. Thanks for learning with us. And until next time, thanks for stopping by the homestead. Take care, and God bless.